Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now if you want to play the classic Grand Theft Auto trilogy on console today, you essentially have two main options. You can either buy 2021's Definitive Edition, which bundles GTA 3, Vice City and San Andreas into a remastered opinion splitting package, or you can dust off that old 6th generation PS2 or Xbox and hunt down the original discs. All three are also available on PC, but for me it's the original PlayStation 2 versions that offer the most authentic, aesthetically pleasing presentation. The nostalgic atmosphere is further enhanced by an old school CRT, whether it's the dark and dingy streets of Liberty City, the neon-soaked sun-drenched avenues of Vice City, or the atmospheric orange-tinted sunsets of San Andreas. But I wouldn't judge you for getting a cheap adapter on Amazon and hooking your old console up to a modern TV. This method isn't upscaling the image, it's just converting the signal. In the case of this PAL region PS2, we're getting a 576i resolution blown up to feel 50 inches. Well, more like 41 because the original 4:3 aspect ratio is maintained. I'm using San Andreas as an example because it's my favourite and it's the only GTA game I currently have on Sony's old console. With Grand Theft Auto games, the soundtracks are a massive part of the appeal and all are completely intact here, though muted in this video for copyright reasons. Everything that was burnt to the discs over 20 years ago remains so. This was the era before online updates or patches. Back in my day, we used to call such products finished, though finished also meant we just had to ignore any issues or glitches that we experienced. I'll admit, I view this era through rose-tinted glasses. The PS2 was my childhood and my console aged alongside me, but taking them off, and I get why today's young adults might feel these games, which could be older than them, older than you, don't hold up. That's where the title of this video comes in, the best versions of GTA you can't play, or something like that. Let's start with the PS4 era and work our way forwards before working backwards because things get, well, complicated. In 2015, Rockstar struck an excellent balance between authenticity and modern enhancements when they released GTA 3, Vice City and San Andreas on the PlayStation Store. These games were essentially the PS2 versions running via an internal emulator and upscaled to 1080p. This made them sharper, yet the iconic colour palettes, physics and atmospheres remained untampered. The games also run at a more consistent 30 frames per second, a welcome improvement over what the original PS2 hardware could handle. However, expired music licenses meant several defining tracks were cut. For example, San Andreas lost Tom Petty's Running Down a Dream, and Vice City lost Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, a song forever tied to my core memory of driving for the very first time in-game. The footage you're seeing now is actually captured from a base PS5, and if it doesn't look any different, well that's because it isn't. We get the same upscaled 1080p as we do on the PS4, the same 30 FPS target, albeit holding a little more steady, and the same graphical options, which are slim to none, aside from a widescreen toggle that stretches the game to fit the display. I actually prefer to play with this turned off so everything stays in proportion. Vice City and GTA 3 share the exact same toggle, though they do offer a little extra. Admittedly, GTA 3 is missing from this video for reasons soon to be explained, but let's talk about Vice City as I feel like we've neglected it a bit so far. Here we have the addition of a Trails filter switched on by default, which drastically enhances the colour saturation, casts light streaks from neon signs and washes the screen in a warm fuzzy glow. It makes you feel like you're watching a VHS tape on an old CRT TV, which is perfect for the 80s setting. You can turn this off in the menu, but that retro atmosphere completely vanishes. Disabling it gives you a sharper, cleaner and colder image that ultimately takes away from those sun-soaked Miami vibes. I have read reports about visual issues when playing these emulated versions on the PlayStation 5, but I didn't experience any problems today. It's sort of irrelevant anyway now, because if you've enjoyed what you've seen so far and you're thinking, wow, what a great way to relive the classic GTA games, I think I'll buy them. Forget about it. In October 2021, Rockstar removed these versions from sale in anticipation of the modern remasters. Regretfully, I only bought San Andreas and Vice City before this happened, which is why GTA 3 is missing from this video. A month after this delisting, the definitive edition launched to critical reviews. There were plenty of issues to pick apart, both technical and visual, but over time there have been lots of updates, including a classic lighting overhaul. Those versions are fine if you just want an easy, modern way to play PS2-era GTA for the first time, and I've certainly had a lot of fun with them. Alternatively, the original classic trilogy is still available on PC at the time of this video as a £25 bundle through the Rockstar website, though you may need a little help from community tweaks and patches to get these games looking and running at their best. But the story doesn't end there. We've spoken about the PS4 and the PS5, but what about the PlayStation 3? Something I neglected to mention earlier was that this classic trilogy launched on this platform first, across 2012 and 2013. These were completely untouched emulations with no upscaling, but they did still lack certain songs, of course. I have no footage to show you because I never bought them on the PS3, and these days they have also been removed, at least here in the UK. I still hear mixed reports depending on the region, and although I couldn't find Vice City or San Andreas here, GTA 3 is still up, and so is Liberty City Stories, though this only showed up when I searched GTA, not Grand Theft Auto, and I can't speak for the future beyond this video's upload. If you're in North America, however, I've heard the classic trilogy is still available, with GTA 3, Vice City and Liberty City Stories also being sold individually. You might also find a standalone version of San Andreas, but be aware that this is the native PS3 release, which is just a port of the mobile version. The only way to get the PS2 version of San Andreas on the PS3 is by purchasing the trilogy. The PS3 version is also fine, but it completely alters how the game looks, and it actually received a physical release as well, although that can be quite expensive because I think it's quite hard to find, and despite the bump in resolution, I'd consider it an inferior version to the PlayStation 2 game, simply because it takes a lot away from the atmosphere once again. As for all the digital versions and their availability on this older console, if you can still find them on your storefront, well, act fast, because when Sony shuts down the PS3 store for good in 2027, they will be gone forever, unless of course you already own them. That's how I was able to bring you this story of these forgotten PS4 ports today. I bought them years ago, and they are still downloadable on both my PS4 and PS5. Thankfully, of course, because to me, these are some of the best ways to play old school GTA, relatively untouched but upscaled and running with a better frame rate than my PS2 could ever handle. Be sure to check your digital library on the PS4 or PS5, because maybe like me, you purchased these years ago and forgot that you had them until very recently. If you did, well, why are you still listening to me talk? Go and get a quad bike and blast the dust across Bone County. Thanks as always for watching, and hopefully I'll see all of you in the next one.